Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to Front Lines. This is Death Watch here to give you guys more intel so you can update your personal armory and fight back against the fake news media machine. And Jussie Smollett has been released from jail pending his actual court ruling. I said this in my previous video that I fully expect, because last time when we were talking about this story, I mentioned that the attorneys were trying to make this bizarre claim that his life was under duress somehow, right? His family came out was saying, well, we're getting emails and all these letters and all this crap about threats to our Jussie Smollett and all these other things. And I'm like, that's total bullshit. Okay, the dude's going to jail. How are you getting any type of threat letters? Like, who's sending that? Is the prisoners? Because I'm pretty sure the prisoners can't send any letters like that. Everything that they send, anything that they receive while in a prison system, gets thoroughly checked to make sure there's no contraband, nothing in there. So I'm pretty sure prisoners aren't sending you letters saying that, oh, we can't wait for your boy to come in here, we're gonna beat his ass or some shit. Like, I don't think any of that is really going on. This is complete and total bullshit. I can smell it millions of miles away, right? But at the same time, he went on like a hunger strike. He did not eat any food. He only drank water. And so they then moved him to a psych ward, right? And I didn't think about this when I made my last video until I started reading more about what the attorneys were actually saying and what they were trying, it didn't. The reason why it didn't cross to my head what they were trying to do, I said that he's probably going to get a white collar jail cell, a jail secluded somewhere else. That's what the court had decided, that okay, you're claiming all these threats are going to happen to you, things like that. We're going to put you in your own jail cell by yourself, whatever, right? But what they were trying to do, especially with his outbursts claiming that he was not thinking about self harm, right? He was trying to play up the whole, this guy, I'm mentally ill type thing, right? But the thing is, it's like, the dude's an actor. He's a terrible actor. And this is clearly a ploy to try to get some type of special treatment within the jail cell. There's nothing really going to go on, right? He's not going to be harmed in any way while he's in jail. He's trying to get a white collar situation where he can be in a luxury place, secluded by himself, and hopefully get free, right? The idea is that, you play crazy, you play like you're mentally ill, you either get your charges dropped, you either get a much lighter sentence, which is kind of happening right now, or you'll get put in a padded room, which is what they actually put him in, right? And so you live in a nice, comfortable place, free from everybody, free from any like terrible treatment. You just sit there in a nice, comfortable room for the next 150 days. I think that's how much they sentence him for. And that's it, right? I didn't think about this because it's stupid. A lot of media, TV shows, movies have kind of made fun of the idea, right? They openly have, they have characters who openly sit there and say, hey, play crazy, play stupid, play like you're mentally ill in some type of way, because you can get some type of sympathy from the court, from the jury, and then the judge might give you a lighter sentence or something. If you can play, you're criminally insane, or you had no control of yourself, right? That's why he was saying, well, Your Honor, I just want to say I'm not thinking about harming myself, right? And then when he actually gets put in jail, he starts he refuses to eat anything. He goes on a hunger strike, refuses to eat anything, and just only drinks water. And so he's losing weight rapidly. So they have to immediately, usually what happens when you go on a hunger strike, they'll have to sedate you and then force feed you with a tube, force feed you through a tube. And I personally don't agree people should be doing that. That's bad, right? There's a lot. I think there's some human rights violations with that type of method, but clear the dude is doing it because he's not insane. He is stupid, but he's doing it for specific reasons. He's probably was coached on to do these things, right? But essentially, because of all this compound crap, he was released from jail because they played up the idea that he is a threat to himself, or there's some type of external threat going on, that he should be released from jail. And so apparently he's being locked up in his own house. So I kind of was right about the whole white collar. He's going to be locked up in a nice room somewhere where he's going to live out his sentence, peacefully, like with room service or whatever, right? But and I was kind of right. But no, he's been released from the jail and is now in his own room. And now his family is trying to make up all this other bullshit to try to get the police officers to leave the house, right? Claiming that this is a complete and total violation of human rights, and this sets a bad precedent for police officers to be at his house, monitoring him, making sure he ain't trying to do anything crazy, right? I mean, you play crazy, you get treated like you're a crazy person. I don't know how to explain that crap. So, from the Los Angeles Times, Jussie Smollett's legal team wants the embattled actor to be released from the Cook County Jail in Illinois because he is facing threats while serving his 150-day sentence for orchestrating a hate crime against himself and lying to police about it. The former Empire Star's lawyers filed an emergency motion on Monday requesting that an appeals court suspend Smollett's jail sentence or allow him to go free on bond, which I believe he can't go out on bond because he made some deal with Kim Foxx, who we'll get to in a second, while his appeal is pending, according to the Chicago Tribune and Chicago Sun-Times. They argued that his time in custody could put his physical and mental health at risk, right? Playing up the insanity angle, right? Which, again, I didn't expect them to be able to get any leeway with that, because so many media outlets have covered this as a ploy for people to get out of jail free, even though they're not mentally insane. And so many TV shows and movies have made fun of the idea to the point where any logical person will sit there and be like, yeah, this guy is playing up some type of role to get legal leeway. And I'm not playing that game. In fact, the more he plays this narrative up, the more I'm going to sentence this guy even further to make him stop being stupid, right? But no, the judge completely went a complete opposite way of what I was expecting, right? So his attorney said that there's a serious constitutional issues with this case and have already asked the higher court to throw out his December 2021 conviction, arguing that Smollett's second prosecution violated his double jeopardy rights. The motion also said that the actor would almost certainly have completed his jail sentence before his appeal is litigated, and asked to postpone payment of the fines he was ordered to pay. The 39-year-old entertainer allegedly received vicious threats on social media that no doubt reflect the hatred and wish for physical harm towards Smollett, which he may experience during incarceration. So he already orchestrated a hate crime against himself. There's probably evidence that will probably prove that he orchestrated, that the family, him, everybody who supports him in some type of way were the ones orchestrating the so-called threats against his life that got him out of jail, right? There's no telling at this point. So the Smollett family allegedly received a threatening phone call about the actor and released its audio on Monday. The caller allegedly said that Smollett would be assaulted in jail in the way that inmate Abner Loima, who was notoriously brutalized in 1997. So somebody happened to call you up. It did New York Police Department, right? This was in New York, and the guy's all the way in Chicago. Hey, who is this? Again, it makes no sense. It's somebody within their own family or whatever, making up this crap. Hey, somebody called us and said that Jussie Smollett is going to be brutalized in jail, just like this other guy who was, you can read it here. He was, a broomstick was shoved up somewhere that shouldn't never be shoved up. Back in 1997. Oh, wow. Something that happened several decades ago. It's going to happen to him now. Get out of here, dude. So Smollett's family members have been using his official Instagram account to share updates about the actor, stating over the weekend that he was very stable, he is very strong, he's very healthy, and ready to take on the challenge that ultimately has been put up against him. In a video update on Monday, his brother, I don't know how to pronounce it, Jacque, Smollett said that Smollett had been moved out of the psyche ward, right? He went from, his own personal cell to a psyche ward. Now he's out of the psych ward in his own house. He was originally placed in and into a jail with a regular bed rather than one with restraints. Before that, Smollett's brother said the actor had a note in his cell that said he was at risk of self-harm. So somebody randomly left him a note in his jail cell saying he was at risk of self-harm. So somebody's in. People within the police department are in on it and trying to their best to get the guy out. That's the only thing I can come to this conclusion. There's no way he's getting him and his family are getting all these random threats from random ass sources, random ass people. It's a conspiracy here, right? Upon his sentencing, Smollett delivered an impassioned speech in which he insisted that he would not, do self-harm, but he was placed in a medical facility at Cook County Jail where individuals with higher levels of medical or mental health needs receive treatment. The facility also can be used for protective custody, which Smollett's attorney have requested, according to a spokesperson for the jail. The spokesperson refuted allegations about restraints and confirmed to the Times that Smollett was moved Monday to a different cell within the same division because his cell was needed for another detainee. Quote, there was a decision made by medical professionals, blah, 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 blah. So Smollett remains housed in his own cell with officers stationed at its open door to ensure that he is under direct observation at all times, right? So again, it makes no sense whatsoever what's going on right now. Smollett remains housed in his own cell with officers stationed at his open door to ensure that he is under direct observation at all times. The spokesperson said he is also allowed substantial time out of his cell in a common area and no other detainees are around during the time. A protocol routinely used for detainees in protective custody, right? This is the white collar situation I was talking about. So he essentially, got that. Skip that quote. The office also said that Smollett is not currently on, self-harm watch. Unfortunately, Cook County doesn't really move until they get a bad publicity, and so we have to keep applying pressure, y'all. This is his brother saying that bullshit. A number of supporters include Smollett's Empire co-stars Taraji P. Henson and Alfre Woodard. I don't know how to pronounce any of these fucking retarded names. Actors LaTanya and Samuel L. Jackson. Wow. So Samuel L. Jackson is on his side, and civil rights organizations have publicly opposed Smollett's incarceration. The dude faked a fucking hate crime, and all you dipshits. So at the end of the day, they're all in on it. This is a grand conspiracy going on here to allow this guy out of jail. It makes no sense, right? And so going back to this, the post-millennial, the first District Court of Appeals have granted Smollett's attorney asked that he be released on bond pending the appeal. Smollett later said he was only in jail because he was black, telling TMZ that the sentence was evidence of systemic racism, right? And then on top of that, I believe his grandma was going on about how she has Jewish ancestry, and that's why she is an advocate of social justice and all this other crap, and that what this is racial persecution and all this other bullshit. It makes no fucking sense because we already have the evidence here from CBS Chicago. Jussie Smollett case brothers questioned by police were paid $3,500 to stage attack, which was rehearsed days before, sources say. Right, we already had the brothers' testimony saying that they were giving $3,500 to go buy, the items needed, and they were like, to stage the attack. From the Daily Beast, we're gonna skip down here a few. So right here, Webb focused on the scene of the incident and the actions leading up to it. Evidence provided during the trial showed that Smollett and the Osendiaro brothers drove multiple times in the preceding days around the exact location where the actor would later claim he was physically attacked, had bleach poured on him, and a noose put around his neck in the frigid wee hours of January 29, 2019. Okay, so we have all this evidence that shows that he was with the brothers, driving around the area, circling around the area several times. He claimed that they were smoking weed or and that he was in a relationship with one of the brothers, and I guess the oldest brother didn't like him or whatever. But it was like, well, if he didn't like you, why the hell are both of them in a car with you smoking weed, driving around this block several times? If somebody doesn't like you, then they won't be smoking weed with you, driving with you around a block or whatever, right? And then his lawyers tried to claim long time ago that, well, the brothers actually tried to attack him in order to get hired as his security guard, but at the same time he also claimed that, well, the money was really for the brothers were his personal trainer, right? They were trying to, he was like, well, you guys are so swole, can you teach me how to be swole like you guys? So I'm gonna pay you $3,500 to be my personal trainers or whatever, right? So again, the story was all over the place. And here from the Daily Beast, going back to, the actual back and forth within the courtroom, the questioning, the cross-examinations, Smollett was changing up his story, and we know why he was changing up his story was because Don Lemon was literally texting the guy saying that, hey, we're getting information here at CNN that the police aren't buying your story, and they think that you most likely faked this whole attack on you. You most likely hired the brothers to go about this fake hate crime with you, right? That's why the story was being changed up all the time. Why while you go back to December of 2021, his defense attorneys are arguing all these different asinine things, and then going back to Kim Fox, this chick right here, she tried to essentially get the entire case dismissed. And this is why a lot of people are speculating that he's going to be released from jail without having to pay anything, because they're claiming that some type of double jeopardy is going on here, kind of like how what's his name? Pudding Man. Crap, Bill Cosby. How he, Bill. I know a lot of people are like, pudding, he did like an old commercial with pudding or something. I forgot what it was. But Bill Cosby, how he got out of his convictions was because of double jeopardy. He made a plea deal with some attorney somewhere like long time ago that, hey, if I confess to these crimes, I can't be charged with all these other crimes. And they struck a deal, and he was able to get free. And then they came back to try to prosecute him for all the crap that he admitted to. But it was like, well, he already made a plea deal. He already made a plea deal that he will serve some type of sentence or admit to certain things while also being exempt from being punishment for these other crimes, right? And so for you guys to then come back behind him and try to persecute him for the things that he openly admitted to doing is double jeopardy. This is what they're trying to do here. Kim Fox completely dismissed his earlier felony charges, right? So we're just going to read into this. So from the New York Post, which was way back in March, this is March 11th, so this is not that far ago. So Chicago's top prosecutor, who originally let Jussie Smollett skate on 16 felony charges for lying to the police, called the prosecution of the disgraced actor a failure of the justice system and said he was the victim of mob justice, right? The dude lied to police officers. That's 16 felony charges. And for us to say, hey, this guy committed a grave sin of faking a hate crime and using this for political attention, which drummed up a lot of political tension because every Democrat hopped on it, every left-wing news outlet hopped on it to push all the bullshit. And, again, I said in my last video, it wasn't a slip of the mask. They completely just ripped the mask off and said all the evil, vile crap that they had in their hearts, in their souls about Trump supporters, anybody who were conservatives, right? They used this as, this is our evidence now to say all the things that we really, really and truly believed about Trump supporters and things like that. And then all of a sudden it turned out to be a complete and total hoax, and they're all mum about it, right? They have not come out and apologized for it. They just went dead silent, and you still have people supporting the guy even though he faked the hate crime, right? So Kim Fox made the remarks in Thursday's night column, in the Chicago Sun-Times, published shortly after Smollett, 39, was sentenced to 5 months in jail. Just because we do not like the outcome should not mean we bully prosecutors and circumvent the judicial process to get it charged. Like, what fucking sense does any of this makes? Right? But shortly after a grand jury returned a 16-count indictment against Smollett in 2019, Fox made the decision to quietly drop all charges against him after he agreed to forfeit his $10,000 bond and complete some community service hours. The state attorney was widely lambasted for the move in a series of utter ethical blunders she made while handling the case. Fox continued to speak with Smollett's sister after he was the target of criminal probe and deliberately misled the public in her collegial recusal, where she continued to be actively involved in the case and never filed to appoint a special prosecutor as is required by law. So, who knows what supersedes what? Clearly, she literally just made a random ass plea deal, right? They convicted him in 2019 of lying to the police, right? Several charges of lying to the police. And she just said, well, we're just going to throw all that away and, you're going to do some community service. So, therefore, them coming back and trying to charge you for actually staging a hate crime and all this other crap, we're going to claim that it's double jeopardy. But at the same time, they're trying to say, hey, he still has the ability to pay for some type of bond. But they're also arguing that he can't pay for bond because in this plea deal he did with her, he forfeited it. Okay, so they're going to try to come up, so they're trying to come up with some type of random ass appeal, anything they can pull out their ass to try to make any type of excuse for him to get out of jail, either through double jeopardy or any other bullshit. I don't know what's going to happen, really. But for the most part, what I speculated was he's going to get he's going to play up some type of role. The attorney's going to drum up some type of bullshit to get him in a white collar situation, which is what he is doing now. He's in his own jail cell, far removed from everybody else. He gets special privileges and rights and all this other crap. And it's just kind of stupid, right? But the speculation right now is that he is going to be released from jail, right? I don't know. I don't know what's really going to happen, but if he really does walk free, I'll cover it and, cover all the other stupidity that's going on. But at the same time, Jussie Smollett lawyers are trying to sue the Osundiaro brothers somehow, right? It makes no sense because the brothers were suing Jussie Smollett for claiming that that one of them were in some type of sexual relation with him because they're from Uganda or some African country, which is, in that country, it is actually a death penalty to be gay, right? And so they wanted to immediately clean up the false narrative that they were having some type of sexual relationship with Jussie so they can go back and visit their family within the country and not be, put to death, right? That's terrible. Okay. And so they are suing Jussie Smollett for the allegations that they were in some type of relationship. But now Jussie Smollett lawyers are trying to sue them for, I guess, lying or trying to make the claim that, well, Jussie was, he didn't stage the attack. It was actually the brothers. The brothers were the masterminds who essentially took the money for some other reason and then attacked the dude and then lied about it and tried to frame it on him that he was the mastermind. It's all a bunch of bullshit. At the end of the day, I don't know what's really going to happen. This guy might actually be released from jail. I'm not holding my breath over it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's corruption. Corruption at its finest. We have proof that corruption is there, that the Democrats, they hate you at the end of the day, right? And I'm going to release another video talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, all that fake news surrounding that crap. But at the end of the day, the Democrats, they don't respect you. They hate you. All these actors who said all those vile things about Republicans, claiming that Republicans are, were the ones behind this attack, and this is what all, hey, all these, we finally have proof to show you guys that Republicans are really evil and that this is what they all want to do to minorities and people that they disagree with, right? And even though it turned out to be a complete and total lie, they haven't retracted their statements. They haven't apologized. No, they hate you. They openly show that they hate you. They're not going to apologize because they truly felt, truly in their hearts, in their soul, that's what they felt about conservatives, and they expose themselves, and they're not going to apologize for it because they have no respect for you, right? Why would I apologize to someone I have absolutely no respect for, that I think is completely vile, as they like to say, literally Hitler, right? Why would they apologize to you? They have no respect for you. They don't like you. They want you dead. Okay. In some ways, they really want you, disappeared off the face of the earth. Right. So don't lose sleep over this. Don't get your butthole in a twitch or whatever the heck, whatever they like to say. Um. Yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day. But we have more. It's just more and more evidence piling up on top of each other that the Democrats are it's the real party of evil, corruption, and all this other crap. Right? Share all these articles with your friends, your family members, to show them the lies. So when it comes time for the midterms, we vote all these evil people out of office, and we actually start having some form of civility back in the United States. But you got to do your part, right? You got to do your part to fight back against the fake news, against all the narratives, to expose the lies. And I would say, even if Jussie Smollett gets out of jail, some people will sit there and say, well, there's no way that Jussie Smollett is going to get any type of jobs, right? But no, he will, because he has Samuel L. Jackson and other people behind him, right? As soon as he gets out of jail, he will find more work. That's what I'm saying. Do not lose, do not get all up in a fit about this, right? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. The system is corrupt. Chicago's corrupt. Chicago, is nicknamed Chirac, and now its new name is Gotham City, right? It's corrupt. It is what it is, right? Don't lose sleep over it. Don't get your panties in a twitch about it. Don't get your panties up your butthole about it. It is what it is. Stay safe. Stay sane. Be vigilant. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you, Patriots, on the battlefield.